All right, guys, welcome back. I appreciate everybody checking us out. Today we have some awesome topics. We're going to go over the Jon Jones situation with Fury and the Jon Jones situation with Ngannou. We're going to go over the Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov. And we are going to go over Oliveira versus Makhachev. Let's start talking a little bit about the Jon Jones fight and what really should happen. We have Fury coming out saying he's the baddest man in the world. As we know the heavyweights are the ones that are usually labeled as the baddest man in the world because obviously they are the largest of guys. Now, there's a big difference, guys, between boxing and MMA, okay? There's absolutely zero chance Jon Jones will win against Fury. Zero chance Fury will win against Jon Jones in an MMA fight. And it's the same thing in the same situation for Fury if it was a boxing match. I don't believe Jon Jones fighting Fury would actually get him a win if they did it in boxing. Let's go over a little bit of MMA and let's go over a little bit of the skills of a boxer. We have Fury, guys. He's an expert with two hands, okay? So it's not fair for us to sit here and want to see a boxing match between Fury and Jon Jones because we know Fury will have the upper hand. But again, if we think about it, if Fury goes to the UFC and they play by the rules of the UFC, then it almost seems not fair to Fury. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this fight will actually happen? Or do you think Jon Jones will move over and fight Ngannou? Okay, boxing, you have two hands, you have two weapons. If you have Jon Jones fighting in the UFC, we have punches, we have elbows, we have knees, we have kicks, we have flying, we have takedowns, we have jiu-jitsu, we have wrestling. So it's mixed martial arts. I do not believe Fury, in no way in chance, will go over to the UFC to fight. Now, we did hear new news from Dana White talking about he agrees to the terms of the Fury fight. Now, let's see if that happens. I think it's all marketing. I don't think this will happen at all. And if it does happen, I see this fight happening more in boxing and more like a Conor McGregor-Mayweather fight than Fury moving over to the UFC. So Jon Jones, again, 0% chance I think he'll win against Fury in a boxing match. That's my theory. And remember, guys, I'm here to commentate and give you guys news on the fights. I'm not here to say who will win and who will lose. But when it comes to these matches that are marketing matches, or we have the boxer fighting the MMA guy or the MMA guy fighting the boxer, in these situations, I might throw in my 2 cents because I completely understand this game and I know that if Jones goes to the one guy's game, he'll probably lose, and if Fury goes to the Jones. So I will commentate and I probably will decide like, okay, I might think this guy might win or I might think this guy might win. Jon Jones, at the end of the day, super successful. He might end up retiring. He's going to fight Stipe Miocic next. So we have that fight happening. This past week, we did see Jon Jones at the PFL with Ngannou talking and marketing that fight. So we have 2 fights that could happen for Jon Jones. We have the Fury boxing, and then we have the co-promotions between UFC and PFL, which we haven't seen yet except for the Mayweather and Conor McGregor fight. So let's see if that happens. But go check out the PFL's Instagram. Go check out the PFL YouTube. That was just the card for this weekend. And we saw the face-off between Ngannou and Jones. Okay, so what do you guys think? Comment below. Let me know if you guys think Jones will fight Fury or if you guys think Jones will fight Ngannou in the PFL. Give us your insight and thoughts on what you think Dana White is really bringing down for these fighters in regards to approving the terms and conditions, for example, what we heard in the news with Fury. So comment below, send any questions you have. I'll make sure I answer them, and please make sure to follow us. Let's talk and move over a little bit and talk about Corey Sandhagen fighting Khabib Nurmagomedov's cousin Nurmagomedov. Okay, we have Sandhagen that has had trouble in the past with mixed martial artists that were wrestling based and jiu-jitsu based. So why is Corey Sandhagen deciding to fight probably the worst of this style with Nurmagomedov? We know they're from Dagestan. We know that Dagestani wrestling is right now taking over MMA. Now, one thing I like about Sandhagen is something I've seen him that I don't see in other fighters is evolving. Okay, usually you see these fighters, Frankie Edgar, Charles Oliveira, all these guys have been in this place forever. If you think and look at their style is the same. It's been the same for 15 years. And that's something about me that makes me a little crazy. So when you talk about Sandhagen, he's one fighter that evolves. So he might lose against a wrestler and a jiu-jitsu guy, and then he'll go and train for 4, 5, 6 months, and then next fight he comes in, he's coming in wrestling. So one of the things that I really enjoy about Sandhagen is seeing that him evolving as a fighter and taking on new skills under his belt. Now for Nurmagomedov, we know he's Khabib Nurmagomedov's cousin. We know that the wrestling and the Dagestani wrestling is going to be a problem for Sandhagen. Again, major balls for him for taking this fight. I think he's going to have a lot of trouble with Nurmagomedov. That's a real fight, guys. But it really boils back to what I was just saying. If Sandhagen had the balls to actually take this fight and actually go against the worst of the guys that he could go after in Nurmagomedov, and he wins this fight, it's going to prove my point even more that how a fighter should evolve and should keep getting better, and while keeping their style, still learning and taking in new skills. It really makes me crazy to see the same fighters for 10, 15 years, and it's just the same exact moves. Go back to Frankie Edgar, and come on, you never evolved. Like, I understand he was champion, I understand he was one of the best fighters in the world, but 15 years doing the same 10 moves, eventually people catch on. Okay, so the next topic I want to talk about is Charles Oliveira fighting Makhachev, which they already fought before, and Makhachev won. What's my problem with Charles Oliveira? Charles Oliveira used to quit in his fights, and I was not too much of a fan of his. Now lately, he has been doing really good. He took out Gaethje, which is pretty insane. So I can't wait to see him fight. He just won again. So I do want to see that fight, but in a way, I really don't care too much for that fight. Again, these two guys don't exactly excite me, but Oliveira is definitely something to watch for nowadays. Makhachev, really, I feel that he should have done a better fight against Volkanovski. He was the bigger fighter. He was the wrestling-based fighter. So I believe he cannot be named top fighter or the GOAT or the #1 pound-for-pound fighter right now, because how could you give him that label when he just barely won against a much smaller and lower weight class than he is? So even though he won that fight, I feel that the pound-for-pound fighter best, if it was to be labeled, even though he lost, has to be Volkanovski, because he's the smaller guy. He's the one coming from a smaller weight class. And he barely lost. I'd say he won. Some say he won. So again, pound-for-pound fighter, I disagree on the Makhachev only because of the size situation. And that is a fight I would like to see again, but I think both fighters are going to go back to the weight classes. They're going to do a few things, and then they will come and see each other again. So I appreciate everybody following us. Don't forget, check us out. Ask any questions you have. Follow. Hit the bell button so get notified for all new content. Check out our Instagram. Different content for Instagram, different content for TikTok, and different content for YouTube Shorts, and different content for long-form podcasts. Sorry about the TV. I will get this TV set up. We almost have the set up so I can actually have the background and I'm trying here for you guys. So the content will get better as we shoot more. I now have a lot of help. So we have a videographer behind you. She's going to help me set everything up. She's actually right now checking things out. So before I was shooting all on my own. So we have our editor, a graphic designer. Now we have a videographer / assistant that she can make sure all of these sets are all set up for us, and we'll get better. Thank you very much. Follow us. Let's rock.